The comfortable bubble you live in is a lie. Every day, the algorithms decide what you see, what you believe, and what you ignore. Scroll, like repeat. Everything feels safe, familiar, agreeable. You nod along because your feet agrees with you. But here's the dark truth. You're not being informed. You're being conditioned. Every click trains an invisible hand to build walls around your mind. Walls made of comfort. Walls made of affirmation. Walls that separate you from truth. We call this the echo chamber, the illusion of freedom while your thoughts are slowly domesticated. And Nietzsche saw this coming more than a century ago. He warned us, when the herd takes over, individuality dies. He feared a world where people would rather feel comfortable than think critically, where they would trade truth for belonging, where the crowd will become God, and God, in Nietzsche's words, will be declared dead. So, what if the same philosopher who saw the death of God also foresaw the birth of the algorithm? What if a solution, the path to liberation, is more relevant today than ever before? In this video, we'll uncover Nietzsche's blueprint for escaping the modern echo chamber. How his ideas about resentment, morality, and self-overcoming can help us reclaim our independence of thought, and maybe our humanity. So stay till the end, because the solution isn't just philosophical. It's practical, it's psychological, and it might just change the way you see your digital life. If you're ready to think for yourself again, welcome to the Hidden Self. Don't forget to subscribe, because every week we explore the dark truths modern society wants you to ignore. We live in the age of infinite information, yet we've never been so intellectually trapped. It's 2025, and we're surrounded by invisible walls, not of brick and concrete, but of data and design. Social media algorithms have become our architects. They study us, predict us, and feed us what keeps us docile. Not what's true, but what's comfortable. You click on one political video, and suddenly, your feed becomes a mirror of your own beliefs. You follow one self-help influencer, and your world becomes one endless motivational loop. You like conspiracy, and suddenly, the world seems full of them. This is what psychologists call confirmation bias, the brain's addiction to agreement. It feels good when people validate what you already think. It feels terrible when they don't. So you naturally push away what challenges you. And that's when the walls start closing in. We stop encountering ideas. We encounter reflections. Nietzsche would have called this the beginning of spiritual decay, when people stop seeking truth and start seeking approval. He warned that the crowd, what he called the herd, prefers safety over meaning. The herd says, don't question, don't stand out, just agree. Look around today. The herd is digital. It scrolls together, outrages together, and thinks it's rebelling by following trends. And yet, every echo chamber gives birth to the same tragedy, the death of genuine thought. Think about it. When was the last time you changed your mind about something? When was the last time you sought out a view that made you uncomfortable? Most of us don't even realize how deep the trap goes, because it's not just an external design. It's a psychological addiction. The brain craves certainty like the body craves sugar. So when Nietzsche said, the surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct them to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently, he was describing exactly what we become. In the next section, we'll turn to Nietzsche's diagnosis, the hidden emotional disease behind this herd mindset, a force he called resentment. If the echo chamber is the symptom, Nietzsche believed the disease was resentment, or as he called it, ressentiment. Now, what is resentment in Nietzsche's terms? It's not just anger or jealousy. It's the emotional poison of the weak, of those who feel powerless, yet refuse to take responsibility for that weakness. In Nietzsche's world, people who can't create their own values, who can't define what's good or evil for themselves, begin to resent those who can. Instead of striving upward, They pull others down. He called this slave morality, the morality of the herd. It praises humility, obedience, and conformity. Not because those are inherently good, but because they protect the fragile ego of the resentful. And this is exactly what happens inside an echo chamber. The moment someone expresses a different opinion, the herd attacks, not out of logic, but resentment, because dissent feels like a threat to identity. They need everyone to agree, or their illusion collapses. Sound familiar? Cancel culture, online outrage, digital mobs punishing anyone who dares to think differently. Nietzsche predicted this over 100 years ago. He called it the triumph of the last man, the ultimate conformist, a being who wants comfort, not truth, pleasure, not purpose, agreement, not authenticity. The last man scrolls endlessly, consumes endlessly, believes he's enlightened, yet never questions why he believes what he believes. He says, "We've invented happiness," and then he yawns. Nietzsche feared this more than war, poverty, or chaos, because it meant the death of becoming, the death of growth. So how do we escape this? Nietzsche's answer was not to fight the herd, but to outgrow it. He called it self-overcoming, the ability to transform yourself continuously, even when it means destroying your old beliefs. And in the modern world, self-overcoming means breaking your digital conditioning, the courage to question your own feed, to seek out discomfort, contradiction, and friction, because growth begins where agreement ends. Up next, we'll uncover how Nietzsche believed this transformation happens through the hammer of self-overcoming. Nietzsche once said, "I am not a man. I am dynamite." And his dynamite wasn't violence. It was truth that explodes illusions. To Nietzsche, the greatest human act is self-overcoming, the constant process of breaking your limits, questioning your certainties, and reinventing who you are. It's the opposite of the echo chamber, where identity is static, curated, and algorithmically safe. He believed that to become fully alive, you must embrace conflict within yourself, to fight the comfort of agreement, and walk willingly into intellectual discomfort, because only by challenging your beliefs can you discover which ones truly belong to you. He wrote, "The snake that cannot shed its skin must die." That's what we're doing when we cling to comfortable ideas. We're refusing to shed our mental skin. So how do we practice self-overcoming in a digital world? Let's take a simple example. Say you're addicted to one ideological news source. Everything you read reinforces your worldview. Try deliberately reading from its opposite, not to agree, but to understand. Feel the discomfort. Observe your defensiveness. That's your inner slave morality, resisting growth. Or when you see someone online you instantly dislike, ask yourself, what part of me feels threatened by this person? That's Nietzsche's method of turning the gaze inward. Instead of blaming the herd, he asked, how am I still part of it? The will to power, often misunderstood as domination, is actually this inner mastery. It's the force that pushes you to evolve, not over others, but over your own limitations. Nietzsche's Übermensch, the overman, isn't a tyrant. He's the one who says, I will not be defined by the herd. I will create my own values. Imagine for a moment, if you could unplug from your algorithmic comfort zone, what would you discover? How many of your opinions are truly yours? And how many were whispered into your mind by invisible systems designed to profit from your attention? Nietzsche's hammer wasn't meant to destroy the world. It was meant to shatter illusions so something stronger could emerge. That's what self-overcoming looks like today. Breaking your own echo chamber, one thought at a time. In our final section, we'll make this deeply practical. How to apply Nietzsche's insights to your daily life and digital habits starting today. Nietzsche once said, no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. And in 2025, that ownership begins with your mind. So, how do we apply this? How do we escape the echo chamber and become independent thinkers, in a world built to control attention. First, curate your information diet. Just like the food you eat shapes your body, the information you consume shapes your consciousness. Diversify it. Follow people who challenge you. Read opinions that make you uncomfortable. Watch debates instead of dopamine-driven reels. Second, seek disagreement, not validation. True strength is being able to listen to what you hate and still think clearly. When someone disagrees with you, don't block them immediately. Ask yourself, what truth might I be missing? Nietzsche would say, the enemy who makes you think is worth more than the friend who makes you comfortable. Third, limit algorithmic control. Turn off recommendations for a week. Manually search for content instead of being fed by the feed. Notice how quickly your sense of curiosity returns. Fourth, practice solitude. Nietzsche believed that great thoughts are born in silence, not noise. He spent years walking alone in the Alps. Because solitude is where the self becomes visible. Try spending even a few hours offline, away from noise. You'll feel withdrawal at first, but that's the echo chamber losing power over you. Finally, embrace the courage to stand alone, because independence of thought always comes at a cost. You'll be misunderstood, mocked, even hated. But remember, the crowd's approval is cheap. Your freedom is priceless. You are not meant to be another echo in the chamber. You are meant to be a voice, your own. So become your own philosopher, not one who preaches from certainty, but one who constantly evolves from doubt. Nietzsche didn't give us answers. He gave us tools to question everything. And that's how we grow, not by being right, but by being real. So which will you choose? Comfort or consciousness? Because the herd will always reward the ones who stay silent. But history remembers those who dare to think. So, what have you learned from this? If there's one takeaway from Nietzsche's path, it's this. Freedom of thought isn't given. It's earned through discomfort, courage, and self-overcoming. We live in a world louder than ever, yet terrified of silence. But silence is where truth whispers. And truth, Nietzsche believed, is not something you find. It's something you create. Ask yourself tonight, how many of your beliefs are truly yours? How many were handed to you by a feed, a crowd, a trend? Because every time you question one of those beliefs, every time you seek out what contradicts you, you chip away at the echo chamber's walls and take one step closer to becoming yourself. If this video helped you see the world a little differently, I'd love to hear what stood out most to you. Share in the comments below. And if you want to keep exploring the hidden layers of philosophy, psychology, and self-transformation, subscribe to The Hidden Self. We have new videos every week that challenge your comfort and awaken your inner philosopher. Remember, the goal isn't to be right, it's to become real. Thank you for watching, and I truly hope this video helps you escape your own echo chamber, one thought at a time.